We're going to look at one specific way that we can instantly add more direction to our guitar solos. And a great way to learn is by example, and a great way to use examples is to have comparison. So I want us to listen to these two examples playing through, and I want you to notice the difference between the two. There's a little disclaimer that the first one is a little hard to listen to, but that's on purpose. So I want you to go through this and notice what's different. And at the end, I've got this practice backing track with everything that we're going to go over, charts for that you can follow along, and you can try this stuff out yourself. But for now, just give this a listen, and again, notice what the difference is between version 1 and version 2. So if you haven't taken a second to stop and think about what the differences are, I want you to go back, maybe listen to it again 2-3 times, whatever it takes, and pause it and listen to it. So if you haven't done that yet, pause it right now, and then we'll go over what's actually going on. So hit pause now. Just messing with you. Just in case you didn't pause, wanted to see if you do it anyways. So what's going on here is we're just playing a G, C, for this verse part, and then it switches it up to a D, A minor 2 times, and then hangs in the D for a couple measures. And most of you know this song, and probably most of you don't maybe realize it because it's a very different version. The original is like twice the speed, it's acoustic, it's got a different feel, it's more country. But I thought this is a good example because it's nice and slow, it gives us some time to kind of work this out and not overwhelm us. So with that G to C, what am I doing in the second version? But I'm just focused on playing chord tones. So a lot of people call them guide tones, so we'll call it that for this video for now. So the first time, I'm just playing randomly. There's just nothing connecting really with the chords. I'm trying really hard not to hit any chord tones, but it's just, or hang on them, it's just kind of all over the place. Second time through, I'm focused on hitting those guide tones, and by a byproduct, there's a little more space and you get a little more clear phrasing. I didn't even intend to do that. I was really trying to just stay right in this hand position, nothing fancy, no more added techniques too much or anything, and just focus on hitting chord tones in the chords as they happen and kind of playing around that. And that by nature gives you more direction and makes you much more melodic and stuff, and can make things develop more, make it more interesting and all that stuff. So what did I do? I actually picked them out ahead of time. I'm just focused on a chord tone. So that first one, a G, and I'm just playing a B right here. So it's a major third of B. And if you don't know your chord tones, intervals, all that stuff, don't worry about it. It's just the general idea here that's going to help, and it'll help your ears. I do plan on making some a new series and a whole bunch of videos in that, going over basic stuff like intervals, chord tones, playing in a key, diatonic of chords, and getting into more advanced stuff at some point too. So hang tight for that. But for now, don't worry about it if you don't know this stuff. We just got this B right here, and then going to the C, I went down to a G right here. So G is actually in G and in C, right there. And then I went back to the B, and then the second time went up to a C. But I could even just repeated the same thing twice, you know. I went down first time, up the second time. Then when we get to the D, I went down to this F sharp right here. That note right here, down an octave though, that's the third of D. And then A minor, went down just right here. Good rule of thumb is to kind of go to a close chord tone to the next chord. Usually, you know, up or down to the next one is a good thing if this is new to you. Really focus on that so you're not leaping, you know, too much over the place. I did leap from here down to here, but it was kind of a new section, so it's kind of like a new starting point. A little easier to do. And not that you never want to do it, but just, you know, good rule of thumb for right now. So again, F sharp, down to that E, and then I went back to the F sharp, and this time went up to the A for the A minor. And then when it goes back to the D, I stayed on that because A is it's the fifth of A minor, and it's the root of A minor, of course, right? And the fifth of D. And I did that, and then because it was hanging on this longer, and it was the last chord, and the climactic chord, I hit that A, then I hit the D, and then I hit the F sharp, except, you know, something like that, right? And then that F sharp, that last one, all I wanted to do is go back to the G. That's all that note wants to do. It's called the leading tone, the 7th scale degree in the overall key. And that was it. So by just plotting that ahead of time, getting that simple thing under my fingers into my ears, it gave me a framework to play around. And that's just one way to do it. So what I'm going to do is give you the backing track where you can practice this stuff, and I'm going to give that exact same one, and I'm going to give you 2 other options, and I want you to try, if you have your guitar now, or if you can't, you know, now come back to it later, practice that first one, getting in your fingers, and then try using the scale, and I'll put the overall G major scale, the whole fretboard, but you can just focus in that one hand position, and just throwing in those other notes, but always kind of coming back. It doesn't have to always be hitting it on beat 1, but if you want to start off that way, you know, just play this, you know, and then beat 1 when it goes to C, things like that. And then try it out for the other 2. And if you got time and you want to get creative, try out your own ones. Try it in different places. Try the same one, but in different, you know, hand positions, different octaves, that stuff. It will really do wonders for your playing. It'll really start to give it direction. And if this stuff, again, is confusing, doesn't make sense, or chord tones, this and that, just follow the charts. You don't have to understand it per se. It'll still get you used to getting your intuition and getting your ears better. So if you get the time, you got a guitar, try this stuff out with the track, with the link right now. Sorry, over here. And then if you want to listen to just another video and something that you think you'll like, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video, so check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.